evening to everybody. I got some things maybe I'll say at the end of the call, and some things we're thinking about, some things we're doing. I've just returned from a fantastic 3-week trip to Africa. Just had a great time traveling to about 8 different countries. Just got back from a big account that Katie Huff and I were working on in Las Vegas, a town called Pahrump, with a organization that's big in leadership and firearms training. So we just did a 2-day event out there. So just exciting times in Legal Shield, exciting times with the Shield Nation organization. We just got another announcement, I think on Thursday, maybe it was. Cliff Malloy, a dear friend of mine, 25 years into this, millionaire club member or millionaire ring earner. So yeah, Darren, absolutely. Everybody get a chance, give a shout out to Cliff. I'll be having Cliff on the call probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Next week, we're all in Dallas for the Leadership Summit. So I won't be having a guest speaker next week, but I'll talk about that more toward the end of the call.
You bet.
My goodness, man, it's just exciting times. I've had a number of big calls and some meetings with Warren, and some things our new management team is doing with our provider law firms, with incentives, with bonuses, with commissions, and with a whole host of things. And so really, when you look about it, we're going to wrap up a great 2023, but I think 2024 is going to be kind of a banner year, just in respect to opportunities that we've been associated with post our latest management run with Jeff Bell. So just fantastic time to be alive. We're blessed, and praise the Lord. So do I have something to talk about? Absolutely, but I won't count, Karen. So I'll let you read it off, and then we'll talk about some things at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Teresa Johnson, have you been able to join us?
She will be on in just a few minutes.
Okay, great. Well, in between time, I'm going to give you some background about Miss Johnson. She's from North Virginia. She's a millionaire club member. Makes $50,000 she's a $50,000 ring earner. She also is on the Small Business Council, where she is, I think, right now. And she also is a leader of Ladies of Justice, and she plays an incredible role in doing the Ladies of Justice. So, okay, so hopefully she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. John, do you have anything to add to Teresa's resume?
Well, I mean, I sent a message out. Max and Raquel Pillay sent a message to Darcy and I last week, and it kind of got, I've been so busy, it kind of slid past me a little bit, but I guess Max and Raquel called it our silver anniversary. I'm not sure what a silver anniversary is. I hope my wife's not listening. She'll probably be sure to tell me what it is. But anyhow, for many of us, Teresa included, we're celebrating our 25th year. Karen, how many years has it been for you?
24 or 25.
Yeah. I knew you were right in there. And Kimberly Joy Dixon, I see her on there, and I know Kimberly. I'm not quite sure for her and Russell. How many years, Kimberly, for you guys?
Wow, I believe it's 22.
Yeah. So I mean, look, 22 years. I mean, again, what great leaders Dixons are. Karen, what an amazing leader you are. And I'll never forget, 25 years ago was in a very emotional time, and we can carry this conversation in today, tomorrow, next year, and the next 15 years. But Prepaid Legal at the time in Harlan Stonecipher had just acquired the People's Network. And the People's Network, for some of you that maybe aren't familiar, was a television network of which Darcy and I were one of 8 people asked to help launch that company in 1994. And I'm sure all of you can relate, because each one of us on this phone, anybody in life who desires any success at all realizes that readers are leaders. I don't understand why a lot of people after high school never pick up a book again. You can see behind me a very small portion of my library. coming back from Vegas today, I finished another book. In the People's Network, we were personal development. We would assemble the greatest intellectual properties we could find in all the respected aspects of life: family and parenting, health and wellness, nutrition, negotiating, sales, management, entrepreneurship, family, parenting. And we'd bring them into a studio and film them in 35-minute segments. That company's DNA ran in our blood. And I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, there weren't a lot of us that made very much money. Cliff was in that business. Patrick Shaw was in that business. The first time I met Bill and Annette Hamilton, Darcy and I had sponsored Les Brown, the motivational speaker, and we were going in to do some filming in the Las Colinas Communication Complex, and this big white limo pulls up, and we're like, well, wonder who's in the limo. And Les Brown gets out. He had recently married Gladys Knight. We were really good friends and close to both Les and Gladys. And out of the back comes only the Bill and Annette's that you can know, and two big fur coats, and Bill had a fur hat on. And I kind of chuckled because it was Texas and it was hot in Texas. And Les and Gladys are like, John, Darcy, come here. And we're like, we ran over there. We want you to meet Bill and Annette Hamilton, and 25 years ago, and y'all know Bill and Annette. I mean, they are dear friends to us. We love them dearly. They're family. They've been family to, every one of you that have had the opportunity to spend time with them. But my point being is that business, even though a lot of people didn't make money, ran deep in our souls because it was personal development, what we were becoming in the process. And so when Prepaid Legal bought the People's Network, there were a lot of people emotionally distraught. And you can't make decisions in an emotional state. And there were a lot of people who were colleagues and friends of mine who didn't go on with Prepaid Legal because they were mad, and I moved emotions aside and I said, I want to know who this company is, and I want to know about their value proposition. And I immediately fell in love with this company, Legal Shield, Prepaid Legal, because of the idea of justice, equal justice for all, just like every single one of you on this phone. The product absolutely made sense. And I knew that we could make money with this company. We weren't going to be able to sustain the People's Network. It wasn't a business model for the masses, like we know Legal Shield is. And sorry, this story's taking a minute, but it makes sense right now, I hope, for all of you. But Teresa Wright Johnson came to me. She was emotional at the time, and she said, John, she goes, I just want to know, do you think this company is good? Do you think we have a future here? And I said, Teresa, absolutely I do. And she leveraged and carried those words forward and made a decision to go forward with this company. And I think Teresa's got a fantastic story. She's a $50,000 ring earner. I just talked about Cliff Malloy being $1 million ring earner. And that's great. But I sometimes think what we forget is that the recognition and credit we need to give a lot of times are to the people who have been fighting the good fight and have maybe been at the director level for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Maybe the senior director level, or maybe they've hit executive director and they've fallen back, hit executive director and fallen back. But you know what? They've stayed in the game. They've stayed in the game. Teresa's got a great lifestyle. She loves what she does. And she's bringing her influence and certainly her 25 plus years here and what she did in the People's Network with personal development. And she's paying forward to others the ability to have the kind of principles, to have the kind of values, to have the kind of foundation that speaks to the entire you, not just making money. I mean, I know a lot of people who make a lot of money and they're miserable, absolutely miserable.
Mhm.
And so I think, that's carrying a much bigger part of Teresa's story.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah,
She is
yeah.
an incredible leader. And
And-
Teresa has joined us. So
Good.
we'll get back to you, John. But definitely when I heard of TPN being sold to prepaid legal, I wasn't too hot on it, but I used the service and that's what convinced me.
Yep.
And again, Teresa Johnson is North Virginia Millionaire Club member, $50,000 ring earner, and she's on the Small Business Council, and she's the Ladies of Justice, one of the top leaders in Ladies of Justice. So Miss Teresa Johnson, we are looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Karen, for that introduction. And I'm just excited about all the success that you are personally having in your business. And yes, John, for me, at midnight will be my 25th anniversary as well. And I will tell you, it was the best decision I could have ever made. But at the same time, I really had to lean on my leadership in order to make that decision. So it was not made lightly. After all, I was coming from an environment where I was already making close to six figures already. And then with bonuses, it was more than six figures. So it was a hard decision for me to make to continue on with this. But as I tell people, I came so close to the edge of saying no to what would ultimately be the best thing that could have ever happened to me. One of the best things that could have ever happened to me, I should say. So with that, I want to get started with our training tonight. And our training tonight is a little different. And I thought about this, and some of the people who are on my Monday, my Momentum Mastermind, they heard this.
Teresa, you're muted. Teresa, you're muted. Can you unmute? Oh, whoops.
I'm not, you guys couldn't hear
Okay.
me?
We couldn't
Can
hear
you
that.
me now?
Yes, we can.
Man, I said some great stuff, y'all, and y'all didn't even get to hear it. Stop laughing at me, Deron. I'm not sure what you heard last, but I was giving you kudos, Karen. I gave John kudos, and I gave kudos to being in the business for 25 years.
Yeah, Teresa,
So,
we heard you up till about the unconventional part in regards to tonight.
oh, okay, great.
Yep.
So, what I want to share with you, and you know, for some reason, since we've had the storms, not just this past one, something has happened with the wiring in my building when it comes to the internet, even though I've switched out my router. So I do apologize to you for that. So if I go out and you don't hear me, just let me know. And so what I wanted to say is tonight, I really wanted to talk about something that we typically don't talk about. And those people who are on my Momentum Mastermind, they heard this a couple weeks ago, but it's something that I have implemented in my business. And so I really want to talk about tonight becoming irresistible in your business. And, you know, first of all, you need to know that people don't buy what you do, they buy why it matters to them. And, you know, I want to start out with a story about, there's a story that's told about these four men who walked into the store in this downtown major metropolitan city. And they went in, they did something that you would think was downright ridiculous. They didn't remove anything, okay? So let's be clear. They didn't remove anything from the store when they broke in. They just went in and changed the price tags on each and every item that was in the store. And they just went in and changed the price tags on each and every item in the store. And on a big screen, 52-inch, $4,000 television, they took the price tag off of that item, and put it on a toaster, y'all. So the next morning, the store opened up as usual. And as people came into the shop, some were getting ripped off as others were getting a bargain. And I'm sure you probably wish you had caught this sale, because I know I wish I had. You know, it was like a Black Friday frenzy in there. And after about 3 or 4 hours, the manager noticed that something was really wrong. So he took an inventory and noticed that someone had snuck in the night before and changed the price tags on every.
Teresa, we're muted again. But we
Teresa,
can
you
see
popped
your-
off there.
Yeah, we can see your lovely smile.
Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, not sure what you heard last.
We only missed maybe 10, 15 seconds.
Okay. So, even though they had changed all of the items in the store the night before, here's what I want to suggest to you today. That somebody snuck in the night before and changed the tags to what really matters in our business, our Legal Shield business. You know, the price tags have been changed when we put making money more important than helping people. The price tags have been changed when getting clients is preeminent over solving people's problems. Now I know that the prices have been changed. When you pitch me about your product, I go to other networking groups. They pitch me more about their product than talking to me about them. So on our first meeting, whenever you open up your laptop and you try to show me your PowerPoint presentation and ask me to watch your video, I know that the price tags have been changed. And what we have to do today is find a way to get the price tags back on the correct items. And so what I want to do is that I want to remind you of just how people-centered business actually is. So if you're struggling to get clients in your business or people to engage on your social media, or maybe just visit your website, or just come to an event that you're having, or a private Zoom presentation, or just even to pay attention to you at all, then you've got to understand this phrase, and that is this. I hope everybody will write this down. Let them buy me and get my services for free. Let them buy me and get my services for free. Put that on your phone, plaster it on your walls. Let them buy me and get my services for free. Because once you get this, it's going to be a game changer in your business. Like once they buy you and like you, then you're more likely to get that person as a client or be referred by them and have that person as a lifetime customer, because you're giving them more than just about our service or about our product. They're getting an experience with you. In other words, you're building customer loyalty right from the start. People, we always say this in our business. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. You're building that. I'm going to give you some stats to back that up. The most loyal 50% of customers would pay a 25% premium before switching brands. Loyal customers spend 33% more than new customers. The probability of selling to a new customer is only 5 to 20%, whereas the probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%. See, if they see value in what you are offering them, they're going to want more. I only have the legal plan, but now you bring value to the table, like our new ID Shield experience. Your current customers are more likely to go ahead and buy that from you to the tune of 60 to 70%. Customers who have an emotional connection to a company are 4 times as likely to do business with it. And you know, some sectors, there's like a 2% increase in loyalty is equivalent to 10% cost reduction. A 5% increase in customer retention can mean a 30% increase in your profits. So a 5% increase in your customer retention, we know, can impact our residual. So interesting. So the point of all of this is take care of the people and they will take care of you. Take care of the people and they will take care of you. So you probably said, okay, Teresa, well, how do we do that? Let me tell you how you do it. You do it by solving problems. How do we become irresistible in business? Here's one way. You got to be talking about people's problems. Here's the thing that the thing is that you're in business because you solve a problem. We talk about that all the time in our business. We solve problems. You'd be surprised at how many business owners that I talk to, and when I ask them what problem do they solve, they can't tell me. They can tell me how wonderful their product or service is, but they can't tell me the problems that they solve. Just that, we have this great face cream and it helps with wrinkles or whatever. People are giving you money in exchange for a product or a service because you solve a problem. So they're going to your website, or if you have a store or something, your office, have an office. Some people do here in Legal Shield. You don't have to, but they come in because you solve a problem. They come to you because you've been referred to them because you solve a problem. So be talking about their problems in order for you to matter to them. So from now on, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that you start talking about people's problems and how we solve them, as opposed to just going right in, as the young people say, going ham on them, talking about everything that Legal Shield provides. You're throwing up all over them the first time you get a chance to sit down with them. You don't want to do that. I don't care what you're selling. Here's the thing. If you're not solving my problems, if you're not talking to me about my problem, for example, if I have a headache, don't talk to me about everything else. My problem is I got a headache. That's my pain point. So I don't have a reason to give you some money unless you can tell me how to solve my headache. So here's what I want to do. I want to share a short video with you. It's about 32 seconds. And what it is, it's a look at the Allstate commercial. Mayhem is going to wreak havoc in our lives. So let me pull it up. And I want to share this with you. Thought I had it lined up. Here we go. All right, here it is. Okay, and I think I have share capability. Let me know can you see that, Karen? Thumbs up? Perfect. All right.
I'm your overly competitive brother. Check. Psych. And I'm about to steal this game from you, just like I stole Kelly.
I'm going to start it over because I want you to hear the beginning.
I'm your overly competitive brother. Check. Psych. And I'm about to steal this game from you, just like I stole Kelly Carter in high school, huh?
You got no game. Dude, that's a foul.
And now you're ready to settle a score. Game over. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Thanks, bro.
Take a lap, rookie.
Real mature.
Okay. So,
I'm a team mascot.
hold on.
Boy, am I running late. But I got lead in my...
All right. So we've all seen those mayhem commercials before on TV. We see them almost every day, right? So here's what I want to talk about with that. This is one of the greatest marketing campaigns ever. Notice that they didn't start off by telling you how wonderful Allstate Protection Plan is. They didn't say, hey, you've got a great protection plan for you and your family. You know why they didn't? Because people don't care. What they want to know is how can you solve their immediate or potential problems. So how many times have we said as Legal Shield associates, the person who solves the most problems wins. So we like to start our elevator pitch off by saying, I help. Well, I think that this is my opinion, I think that you should remove this from your pitch, at least from the top part of your pitch. Don't start off with, I help. Everybody and their mom says, I help. Nobody cares that you help, but they do care that you're going to get rid of their headache, their problem, or their potential problems. So here's what that can look like. I'm going to share with you mine. This is my elevator pitch, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working to perfect it. I say, I protect people from mayhem. Sometimes life comes at you hard, fast, and strong. Things can happen when we least expect it. For example, the teenager who gets pulled over in the middle of the night and they're panicked. You receive a threatening collection letter in the mail for an account that you don't even own. A loved one passes away unexpectedly without a will in place, and now everyone is fighting. Or you're a small business owner and your client owes a lot of money and refuses to pay. I am the solution to those and any other problems you may encounter, known as life issues and events. For the last 25 years, I protected families when mayhem shows up at their doorstep. My name is Teresa Johnson, and I specialize in helping people become proactive and not reactive when mayhem shows up. So that's my elevator pitch. I want to show them I'm here to solve a problem. And even at that, I want to tug on their heartstrings. I want to hit them right here. Sounds good. Some of our pitches sound good, but they don't touch the heart. They don't make me say, ooh, wow. I used to talk about being on Complacent Avenue and Mediocre Boulevard. Sounds cute, right? But it doesn't really tug at anybody's heart. It just sounds great. I want to tug at their heartstring. I want to think of things that are going to matter to them, especially if you're that parent that's got teenage kids. If you've just went through family fighting, maybe you don't even talk to some of your family members because you've been fighting about the will because you felt you should have got this and you didn't get, or maybe somebody died without a will and now it's an awful situation. So I want to go in and show them that I'm here to solve their problems. And if I can do that, I know that it's going to turn, what I'm going to end up getting is more customers because they're going to feel like I care more about them. I just went through that today, helping a client deal with going closing with a company that really has just done the ultimate unethical thing to her. But I worked with her to show her. And you know what she said to me? I really appreciate you going the extra step of the mile with me. I showed her I care. Guess what she did? She said, I've got 3 people I want to refer to you. See, people do business with people that they know, like, and they feel they can trust. So that's just a little bit that I wanted to share tonight. There's so much more to that presentation, but I know we're on limited time, but I just wanted to give you something to think about. If you, with your elevator pitch right now, I would share with you to write it out and think about how you can switch it out. Run it by some people because it's got to touch people from the heart. They got to feel like you're solving the problem. Remember, let them buy me and get your products for free. Let them buy you so they can get their product for free. And with that, I turn it back over to you, Karen.
That is excellent because if you don't create a friend and really listen to people, they're not going to deal with you. That's awesome. Okay, we're going to go out to Erland Lewis for some announcements. Erland, are you on?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Go right
All
ahead.
right. Awesome. Well, yeah, I got a couple of announcements. October 3rd, which is next week, we have a Dream Biggers Leadership Summit in Dallas. It's totally free. All you got to do is get on LS Engage, register, get yourself down there. Some amazing training happening with that. So awesome with that, as well as, we only have like 5 days left. Don't forget your Performance Club qualification and, help your team members as well as get those Performance Club going. Performance Club's the lifeblood of your business, and it helps you with promotions and everything, as well as incentives, and everything that comes along with that. And as well as 49. There's only a couple of days left with that as well too. And so do it tonight. Don't wait until the 3rd of October. start this amazing business. I invested $249 when I first started with this amazing business 9 years ago. And, it's been just an amazing, investment that I did back then that, $49 tonight makes you, really get you going with this amazing company and then all the training that we offer. But other than that, back to you there, young lady. Appreciate the opportunity to share these announcements with you.
Well, thank you, Erland. And keep in mind that they just updated the ID Shield. And if you haven't seen Melissa Wilder's presentation, I encourage you to go and see it. And I'm going to go out to Mr. John Hoffman to wrap up the call. Mr. Hoffman?
Thanks, Karen. Teresa, great job. That's it's just so exciting to just hear, something many of us are familiar with, but at the same time, repetition's the mother of skill. You did such a nice job. Teresa's spot on, guys. I mean, our music. And this is something every single one of you can start with tonight before you go to bed. And what I mean by that is just some of the little things. Consider your music. How did Teresa put it? Let them buy me and get our services for free. What does that mean when they buy you? Let me give you a couple examples. How much more could each one of us work on this? Smiling.
Yes.
Consider that. When you walk into a room, do you lighten it or do you darken it? There's people who just want to be around other people. They let them buy me. What about just simply being genuine? And what does genuine mean? Teresa talks about her kind of elevator pitch, her opening statement, but then what does she do? I know her well enough to know that she starts to ask questions. And you can put this in your notes. This is just good for life, raising kids, having a successful marriage, or building your Legal Shield business. Questions show that you're a genuine individual, that you're genuine, and that you sincerely have an interest in others. But here's what I see with a lot of people that ask questions. They ask one question, they let the person give a partial answer, and then they start responding. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand. And that's why we put the consumer folder together so long ago, because those questions that you ask are going to elicit all kinds of responses. And if you just listen long enough, you're going to be able to wrap your entire Legal Shield package around what those individuals just told you. Have you ever been treated unfairly? What would a wealthy person do if it comes to signing a contract? Oh, they'd send it to their attorney. Would you like the same privilege they have? When was the last time you updated your will? But I tell you what, Teresa's spot on. They're going to be much more interested in answering your questions if they buy you first, if they buy that you're genuine, if they buy that you're sincere, if they buy that you're friendly, if they buy that you have an interest, if they buy that you are polite. This happened to me today at the Las Vegas airport. I'm TSA pre-check. I'm going through, and when we get to the actual going through the not radar, but going through security, they didn't have any little bowls for us to put our phones in and our wallets in and things like that. So I went over across the way to get one for me, and I knew the guy behind me needed one. So I got one for him too. Small gesture, wasn't much. But when I turned around and gave it to him, you should have seen the look on his face. He was so appreciative. He was so thankful. And it was just so small. I just did something small. This trade show that Katie and I did this weekend in Pahrump, Nevada. 700 people attended. They were all there for a company that is the largest firearms training company in the world. I didn't sit behind the booth and wait for people to come to me. I also went to the other 10 vendors and I introduced myself and I said, tell me about what you do. Tell me about your product, goods, and services. Why? Because I was truly interested, not because we were in competition with each other, but because we had something in common. We were there to provide a benefit. We were there to provide support to the members who are part of this organization. just a couple other quick things. I want to just tell you this. Well, actually, I want to kind of lean on you guys. Okay. Karen and Jane and Erlen and Teresa, many have been very consistent on this Monday night. It's difficult for me because I start my travels off on Mondays and sometimes Sundays. And so, you know, I make this call as much as I can. I'm going to make an effort. If many of you that do know me that for 35 years, I don't think I ever missed a Sunday night call. Sundays were better for my schedule, but I also know that that's the day, that's the Sabbath, that's the day we serve the Lord. And so in respect to that, we've moved to Mondays. But I'm going to kind of lean on you guys because, I'm speaking for myself as well as Karen and Teresa and Erlen and the rest of the team here. We work hard to inspire you guys. But you know what? Y'all got to reciprocate. How do you reciprocate? You bring your team to the call. All right. We don't want to see the same faces. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that out of context. I want to see the same faces, but I want to see your team members. I want to see Teresa every Monday night. I want to see Kimberly Dixon every Monday night. I want to see Karen. I want to see Paul. Okay. I want to see this go from 30 to 50 to 100 to 200. All right. I can't do it alone. We can only do it with you. For you to reciprocate, that's what you show us. I want to share a couple other things. Okay. Let's talk about culture for a minute. Let's talk about Shield Nation. And I kind of want to be as clear as possible here. We create leaders. That has been my goal for 35 years, to create leaders, not followers. Leaders. All right. I want to read a couple things to you. It doesn't mean that culture isn't critical. It absolutely is. Our culture will and always has been rock solid. Just look at the core values. Join a movement, make a difference. Okay. That's for us as a team, but that's for you as a foundation in building your team. My wife and I have used this for our family. Okay. What we do with the organization and what we do in helping to create those 90 plus ring earners and close to 40 millionaire club members is the same thing that we've lived by principles and foundational wise in building a family and building leaders in the church community, building leaders in, the business community, building leaders outside of the speaking that we do at Legal Shield. We value people. We live intentionally. We exceed expectations. I teach these. My wife teaches these in the church. We teach these to the millennials. We teach these to other businesses. We consult. We're strategists. We're chief amongst that. We grow daily. Behind me is an example. We grow daily. To Teresa's point, if you want people to buy you, you can't not read How to Win Friends and Influence People. You can't not read Think and Grow Rich. You can't not read Napoleon Hill's Law of Success. All right. Those are just a few things. Okay. You can't not read Proverbs. All right. Anyhow, we have positive attitudes. Teresa made a great comment from the standpoint that the bigger the problem, the bigger the check. Look, we've been through some highs and lows the last 7 years because of some previous management that wasn't healthy for our company. But how are you going to handle it? Are you going to handle it with a woe is me kind of self-pity party kind of thing, which a lot of people have done? Or are you going to look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me? If it's to be, it's up to me. It doesn't matter what they do in Ada, Oklahoma. Yeah, it can be frustrating. Yeah, it can rock the boat at times. But guess what? I'm going to row through the storm. And I'm going to go with you or I'm going to go without you. But I'm going to go because my attitude is it's up to me. And I'm going to win this. I might not win it tomorrow. I might lose the battle tomorrow. I might lose the battle next week. Watch what happens, though. We're going to win the war. We equip people. That's each one of you. Teresa did such a nice job tonight equipping you guys. Karen did such a nice job tonight equipping and welcoming you guys. Jane always does such a great job. What great energy Jane brings. And everybody else, okay? Erwin the same. And what do? We give back. I can't wait to share, especially in Destin, in our leadership retreat, some of the things I did in Africa and just some of the villages we went to and just some of the things we were able to do in respect to just giving back. Why? Because we can. You know what I mean? So the core values, I'm going to read just a couple other things real quick. I start with the premise that the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not followers. All right. I'm not interested, and I hope none of you are either. I never looked at Teresa 25 years ago and said, okay, I'm going to brand myself. I'm going to brand John Hoffman. No, I'm going to do my best to shine the light on Teresa, to shine the light on Karen. And maybe one day they might want to shine it back on me. If they don't, it's okay. I want to lift the Calvins up. I want to raise them up to help them be as successful as they possibly can with their God-given talents, because God put purpose and put gifts in each one of you. The single biggest way to impact an organization is to focus on leadership development. There is almost no limit to the potential in an organization that recruits good people, raises them up as leaders, and continually develops them. And that's probably where I want to leave it here, Karen. How do we help develop you? It isn't by having you follow us every Monday night. How we develop you, and Teresa learned this a long time ago from me. Karen's heard it. Some of you maybe haven't heard it. Is if you want me to develop you, then guess what? You bring the people, I'll bring the meeting. I don't have time to hear Karen and Charlie's, 2-week vacation. It's not that I don't love Karen and Charlie and want to hear about it. I treat my business like a business. And I'll say to Karen, who did you talk to today? Who are you going to talk to tomorrow? And who do you need me to talk to? And she talked to 10 people today. So I'm hoping she puts me on some 3-way calls this week, because guess what? That's how I can help develop the leadership that's in her. All right. That's where you get our development. I don't have time for a lot of conversation until I have time for conversation. When we go to Destin, I'm not going to be doing 3 ways with the team. I'm going to be talking about their families. I'm going to be talking about their vision. I'm going to be talking about their dreams. All right. I want to know, can I do a 3-way call with you? I want to know, can I do a 2-on-1? I want to know, can I do a sit behind and listen to you call your warm market? Can I listen to you follow up and market the membership via the consumer folder? Let me do a sit behind. Tell me, show me, let me, grow me. That's all it's about. It's not about how many people I can put in a breakout session. It's not about how many people I can put on a call. All right. But I do know that these calls are value. What Teresa did tonight was rock solid. Each one of you should have had 4 or 5 more people on this call. So what we're going to be doing, and I'm really working hard on my schedule to engage more from this perspective. And the guests that I will be having on in the next 4 to 5 weeks, we'll be having Cliff on the call, because he's our newest millionaire ring earner. I will be having, Darcy and I did the Birmingham Super Saturday with Alex Shahid and team. After I did the presentation, a gentleman in his back rose his hand. I didn't know him, and he's an Alabama guy. And he says, John, I just want to be clear. You did a nice job on ID Shield, but I don't think you did everybody justice. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure where this is going to go. And the individual happened to be a private investigator. He happened to be a cybersecurity expert. And he went off on exactly how bad the world is from a cybersecurity perspective, and even went just so much deeper on why everybody needs ID Shield and why we've got the best product. Afterwards, I went to him and I said, man, are you a wealth of knowledge? I said, thank you. You did so much. You did such a better job at kind of presenting, I mean, it was a little bit scary what he threw out there, but it was real. So he's going to be a guest. I've asked him to be a guest on this call to kind of raise the awareness of just how good it is what we do, but how bad the world is when it comes to the attacks on the people you and I are protecting and trying to protect. I had a chance to see a good friend this weekend, past CEO Rip Mason. He told me he was going to get on a call for me anytime I asked. and just to have Rip jump on and just kind of share his love as still a big investor with Mid-Ocean Partners in Legal Shield and what he believes. And then I've got a whole host of other PwC members I'll also be inviting to the call to kind of complement what Teresa did such a nice job on tonight. So, you know, I'm asking you guys, you know, we support and build the right activities, but you guys need to reciprocate, and let's just start loading up this call. All right.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my guests in, I'm bringing my team in, but I'm wondering where you guys, some of you guys are at. Okay. So let's take that responsibility. And with that, Karen, thank you, Teresa. Teresa, great
That
job.
was excellent, Teresa.
Karen, back to you.
And what I really encourage everybody to do is take what Teresa said and create your quick elevator speech. I love the mayhem stuff. I help people with mayhem and work on that. Keep it simple, but always remember to listen to the person you're talking to. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up, get out there and talk to more people, work on your elevator speech. And with that, we'll be back next week.
Can I get a
Okay,
question
thanks.
in?
Yes,
Karen, can I get,
absolutely, Calvin.
actually, I wanted to ask two questions, one to Mr. Johnson and one to Mr. Hoffman. I don't know if I have time to get all the answers, but Ms. Johnson, you did a fabulous job. I want you to know that you just rocked the boat tonight. I'd like to ask a question, and you were talking about the price tag, changing the price tag. And you first said that is money rather than service, I think. And then there was another one, you said a second thing was changing people's lives. Was that the second part? Do you remember?
Yes, I
Mhm.
said yes. Yeah, I talked about the different ways whenever you know that the price tag has been changed. Are you talking
Right.
about that?
Yes.
Okay, so I said when getting client is preeminent over solving people's problems.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay, was
Mhm.
that it? Okay.
That's it. That's it. Thank you so much. And
You're
Mr. Hoffman, you were talking about TPN earlier and about how personal development was the key to the business. I just wondered, I came in after the merger, after the transition, and I just wanted to know, was personal development a prepaid legal mantra before TPN or no? Okay, that was my second question.
You asked Mr. Hoffman, but I'll let
Well,
Mr. Hoffman answer. But I would tell you, personal development, Mr. Hoffman said it perfectly. We weren't making any money really with TPN, but what we didn't realize that we were being positioned. So the personal development was key for us. So when we walked into prepaid legal, we started having massive success because we had that personal development inside of us.
I see.
Where a lot of the prepaid legal folks back then, that wasn't a priority for them, whereas it had been a priority for us. That's my take,
Right,
Mr. Hoffman.
absolutely. Well, no, I have another one for Mr. Hoffman, and this is it. You mentioned how the core values that we have and listening to people is the main thing, right? Now, I had a personal situation where I will tell you I had to apologize to the person because I asked him a question, and before he could finish his answer, I was talking. And I said, that was exactly what you said tonight, Mr. Hoffman. You have to listen, not to respond, but listen to understand. And that really was a nugget that I needed to hear from you. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, Calvin, I appreciate you just kind of sharing that. And I'd like to help other people take it a step further. Sometimes when I ask a question, they'll give an answer. In that answer, I'll ask another question and go deeper. I'll just give you a real simple one. You know, there are a lot of times people say, man, you know, Karen, I really like the opportunity, but I just don't have the money. And then people will start telling them, well, here's how you can get the money and here's the things you can do. And they say, how do you not have the money? You know,
Right.
people will say, John, I like the opportunity. I can't afford it. Or I don't have the money. And I'll say, Calvin, thank you for sharing that. When you say you don't have the money, can you tell me a little bit more? What does that mean? And and I don't make them. I'm interested in understanding more.
Absolutely.
You know, because then what happens is I usually find out they do have the money. They're not understanding the value of what we're bringing. So I have to prove my position of bringing more value. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Or wait a minute, you can get a return on my investment in the next 4 or 5 days. Okay. Larry Smith wrote a hot check 28 years ago. Okay. I mean, it's just, it's just crazy. But anyhow, you guys got it. So anyhow, don't want to take any more time. So thank you, Calvin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right.
Calvin,
Karen.
those are great questions, and
Yeah,
listen
question.
to understand. So, and thank you, Teresa, for such an excellent leadership tip. We so appreciate you. And John, thank you. And we will be back next week. Okay. And remember what John said. If you have a team, get them on this call because they will learn. They will learn.
And Karen, just to remind everybody too, is next week, many of us won't be on the call because we'll be traveling to Dallas for the
That's
leadership
right.
conference, but we don't stop doing the calls at all, but look forward to some of the folks coming in the following week from Cliff and others and all that good stuff. So anyhow,
Okay.
thanks, Karen. Thanks.
Bye now. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks. Work
Thank
on your
you. Excellent.
elevator speech.
Awesome, Teresa.
Awesome.
You rocked it.
Yes. Good night,
Okay. Night, and Anisha. Janine, sorry.
Karen.
Work on your elevator speech. Keep it simple.
Will do.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.